The unthinkable. The outbreak of a full-scale nuclear war. A conflict of such magnitude could be instigated by many players on the global stage. The United States, with its extensive nuclear arsenal, stands as a potential initiator. Yet we cannot overlook the massive nuclear capabilities of Russia and China, nor the rising nuclear prowess of Iran. As these giants clash, the scale of such a conflict would be unprecedented. We're not talking about a handful of nuclear weapons. Rather, we're looking at thousands upon thousands of warheads, each capable of causing destruction on an unimaginable scale. The stage would be set for a cataclysmic showdown, the likes of which the world has never seen. A symphony of destruction would echo through the skyline as nuclear explosions vaporize entire cities in the blink of an eye. In the immediate aftermath, the death toll would be unimaginable. The thunderous roars of nuclear explosions would give way to an eerie silence, punctuated only by the crackling of flames and the distant wails of sirens. Amid the chaos, survivors would find themselves caught in the throes of acute radiation syndrome. Nausea, hair loss, and debilitating pain would become their new reality. A grim testament to the invisible menace that is nuclear fallout. Meanwhile, the ruins of once thriving metropolises would bear the haunting imprints of nuclear shadows. These ghostly silhouettes etched onto the crumbling facades of buildings would serve as a chilling reminder of the lives extinguished in the blink of an eye. The urban environments, once teeming with life and activity, would decay into skeletal remains, their silence echoing the magnitude of the devastation. Survivors would emerge, their bodies scarred and minds haunted, forever marked by the horrors of the nuclear nightmare they had endured. The environment would not escape the nuclear onslaught unscathed. Radioactive fallout would saturate the atmosphere, seeping into the soil and poisoning the water. This invisible enemy, relentless and unforgiving, would wreak havoc on every living organism it encounters, mutating DNA and disrupting ecosystems. The nuclear winter, a chilling consequence of the war, would cast a deathly pall over the world. The sun, once a life-giving force, would be obscured by a dense cloud of smoke and debris, plunging the earth into an icy darkness. Temperatures would plummet and the once thriving fields would freeze, leading to a catastrophic failure of global agriculture. The wildlife would bear the brunt of this climatic chaos. Populations would dwindle, species would teeter on the brink of extinction, and the intricate web of life would be irrevocably altered. The chorus of nature's song would be replaced by a haunting silence. Once lush landscapes would morph into desolate wastelands, and rivers would run black with toxic sludge. The long-term consequences of a nuclear war would be just as devastating as the immediate aftermath. In the wake of such a cataclysmic event, survivors would grapple not only with the physical scars, but with the haunting echoes of trauma. The psychological devastation would unfold as the living navigate a post-apocalyptic world, their minds forever imprisoned by the horrors they've witnessed. The sounds of explosions, the sight of ruined cities, the feel of radioactive dust on their skin, all these would etch themselves into their consciousness, creating a tapestry of nightmares that no amount of time could erase. And that's not all. As nations struggle to recover from the ashes, a new era of global instability would dawn, tensions would rise, alliances would crumble, and the world would teeter on the brink of further conflict. The struggle for resources, the fight for survival, these could potentially ignite sparks of discord that could fan the flames of another war. The chilling question remains, will humanity ever recover from the abyss it has plunged into? But perhaps the most insidious of all the long-term effects would be those on health. In the aftermath, a silent killer would emerge. Radiation-induced diseases would manifest, lurking in the survivors' bodies, waiting for the right moment to strike. The invisible menace of radiation would continue to claim lives long after the bombs have fallen. Cancer rates would skyrocket, and other radiation-related diseases would become prevalent. The health crisis would drag on for decades, draining resources and snuffing out lives. And so, the shadow of nuclear war would extend far beyond the initial blast, the fiery destruction, and the immediate loss of life. Its effects would linger, continuing to wreak havoc long after the last mushroom cloud has dissipated. In the aftermath, a silent killer would emerge. Radiation-induced diseases would manifest, lurking in the survivors' bodies, waiting for the right moment to strike. The threat of nuclear war is not a mere dystopian fantasy. The words hang heavy in the air, echoing the grim reality we've just delved into. The apocalyptic scenario we've painted is not a product of wild imagination, but a potential reality in the event of nuclear conflict. A reality, I must add, that we have the power to prevent. In the dark shadow of such a catastrophe, it's clear that the price of nuclear war is too high. The unimaginable mass casualties, the immediate and long-term health horrors, the environmental apocalypse, and the persistent global tensions are not just consequences. They're dire warnings, urging humanity to tread carefully on the precipice of nuclear warfare. As we've journeyed through the chilling aftermath of nuclear conflict, we've seen how cities could crumble into urban decay, how lush landscapes could morph into desolate wastelands, and how vibrant life could unravel into despair. We've seen how the balance of nature could be forever altered, how the psychological trauma could reverberate through survivors' minds, and how a humanitarian catastrophe could unfold. But it's not all doom and gloom. Amidst these warnings is a beacon of hope, a call to action. It's a call to embrace diplomacy and peace. It's a call to de-escalate tensions, to foster understanding, and to build bridges instead of walls. It's a call to remember that our shared humanity is more potent than the lines that divide us. Diplomacy and peace are not mere buzzwords, they're our shields against the nuclear nightmare. They're our tools for navigating the complex web of international relations. They're our hope for a future where conflicts are resolved not on the battlefield, but at the negotiation table. In the end, the choice is ours. We can either heed the warnings and steer our course towards peace, or we can ignore them and risk plunging into the abyss of nuclear warfare. This journey serves as a sobering reminder that the pursuit of peace and diplomacy is not just an option but a necessity for the survival of our fragile world.